This meeting is being recorded.
What I haven't got is Gemma's telephone number. So I can't ring to find out. She should have my number, but if she's in trouble.
I can see her number at the bottom of her email in the one that she just sent.
Okay, can you give it me and then I could ring her?
Yeah, so it's 01433 650 434.
Okay. I think that's probably the school. That's probably the school number, but you know, I can. If she.
Oh, yeah, potentially.
She arrived. Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, good.
Gemma's there. Great.
Hello, sorry.
Hi, Gemma.
Hello.
Connecting to audio.
Sorry, we usually use Teams. So when I tried to join, it then said it all needed to update. So it just kept updating slowly.
Well done. Welcome, everybody. I've just said that in fact this is with Steve. This is the number that we're going to be on this call because various other people have had to withdraw. But we're recording the program so that we can give it to other people later. Ellen, do you want to? I think you run the meeting. You have the agenda from Lottie, introductions and.
Yeah, sure. So
would you like to do that?
Sure. Hi, Gemma. It's nice to meet you.
Hello.
I'm Ellen. I'm General Manager for Curlew Action, which is the small charity which is helping to support the schools project. My colleague Lottie is normally running this project, but she's unfortunately ill at the moment, hence why it's me today. But I've been helping kind of behind the scenes with producing resources and stuff. In terms of introductions, it's probably all from me. Does somebody else want to introduce themselves?
Well,
I can introduce myself. Yeah, John Winfield. Yeah, I'm part of the Hope Valley Climate Action Group, and Charlie and I are taking the lead on the Curlew project. So we're ready to start. Did you get that?
No, it's very intermittent, John.
Oh, is it? I'm not muted, I don't think.
No, it's just sort of crackling a lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
can you
I
hear
think,
me,
Charlie,
Helen?
there might be some problems with your connection, I think.
Oh.
It'll be the snow.
Oh, the snow's coming down. Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay.
Not down south. No snow down south. I'm down in the New Forest and there's nothing here.
So shall I? So I'm Charlie Platt from Hope Valley Climate Action and live in Hathersage and very close to the school where Gemma works. Gemma.
Yeah, so I'm Gemma Lightfoot. I'm the assistant head teacher at Hathersage St Michael's School, and I teach in Year 6 class. And I've just been having a few conversations email, and we did manage to meet, didn't we, with Charlie and John, just about how we could link Curlew Action with some of the Year 6 curriculum.
Grand. Okay. So about an hour ago, I sent a couple of documents. There was a Curlew curriculum, and we're putting together a sort of Curlew board game that links to the curriculum. We're trying to think of creative ways that we could get the kids learning about curlews. So I don't know what's easiest to go through, how you want to structure the meeting. Gemma, I'm going to kind of take your lead on it. What kind of support would you be looking for from Curlew Action?
So just from our previous meeting with Charlie and John, we just had a bit of a discussion about how obviously the curriculum works at school. And so I went on and had a look over the holidays at the Curlew Action website. There were a lot of the good videos on there, which is good. And I could see the primary resources at the bottom, which I just sent an email back to sort of say I could just as a teacher in the school, I could have a look at the resources that you've got, and I could see ways that I could fit them mainly into my science lessons. So then I just emailed what I would be doing sort of spring 2, but that's sort of past now, I think. Really, we've only got a few weeks left. So the summer 1 objectives that I would be doing in science with my year 6 that term. So like describing how living things are classified into broad groups according to common observable characteristics and based on similarities and differences, including microorganisms, plants and animals, and give reasons for classifying plants and animals based on specific characteristics. So it's very characteristic based. We do some work in the summer term as well that does link to, I had a really quick look at the things you'd sent, maybe linking to habitats. So I could maybe do something with that. But it's really just in our schools, it's quite a small school. We teach science to a single class, but the way Key Stage 2 works at the moment is we have groups in an afternoon. So I can only do science on a Monday afternoon, and I just do it then for an hour. So it's whether, I don't know if Charlie and John had talked about maybe someone coming in and supporting with that, or whether I just use the resources that you provide and I do it as a lesson. But we're pretty limited on what we can sort of offer outside of that curriculum at the moment. And then we just talked about maybe starting it small, so maybe doing a lesson or a couple of lessons with my class, and then possibly as time goes on we could feed that to the school and see if it would fit in anybody else's sessions, or maybe run a club later on in the term. So we just talked around things that we could do, and I'm happy to support in any way. I'm not really sure of what it is we want to actually do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And I think it sounds really sensible to kind of start small and see how it goes. In terms of the kind of stuff that Curlew Action has done with kids before, obviously it's the kind of the science focus, but we've also done a fair amount of art stuff.
Right.
And we do, every year we run a kind of national art and poetry competition. And that's around World Curlew Day, which is the 21st of April. And the kind of deadline for entries for that is the 11th of April. And we have an under 16s category, and particularly for the poetry one, we don't get many entries. So everyone in the under 16 category, regardless of kind of if they win, will get sent a digital certificate to say thank you for your hard work and isn't it brilliant. And then the top 3 will get sent a kind of a Curlew Action pin badge and some socks and basically an extra celebration to say, isn't your work wonderful? So I don't know if that's something that you or your students or your school might be interested in doing.
So just having a look at because we obviously break up quite soon for Easter. So we break up, the end of March for Easter. So the 11th would be in the middle of our Easter holidays. So
Okay.
we could send that out as an activity for children to do over the Easter holidays if they wanted to, but for getting that into our curriculum this term, I don't think that would be something I'd be able to do for this term. That is a bit tight. But we could send it home as an activity if people wanted to do it over the Easter holidays. I'm happy to signpost the information and send that out.
Yeah, well, why don't I, after this, send you an email with just information on how to enter the competition?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, so for the sort of initial science lessons that you said you might do, what kind of resources is there any kind of additional resources you would need from Curlew Action?
No, to be totally honest, I tend to plan over the holidays for the next term. So in that case, I know this term we've done evolution, so I've planned all of that over the half term. So over the Easter, I would plan my science for year 6. Because we work on a rolling basis, we don't reuse our plans, we replan each time. So I will look at those objectives, which I've just read to you, and we work from some I can statements, and I would just plan for summer 1 and summer 2. So I suppose it would be more signposting the resources, it's knowing what's available. And I tend to work it the other way. So I would look at my objectives and see how that would fit in rather than me sort of looking and saying, I don't think I know enough about Curlew or Curlew action in order to say to you, I would really like this. So
Yeah.
I'd probably, over the Easter holidays, those 2 weeks, I would plan for my summer term and sort of integrate in anything you sort of said. This would be really appropriate.
And this is what you told us before in your letter, that in summer
Yeah.
you're going to describe how living things are classified into broad groups
Yeah.
according to
I think you're frozen there.
I can't hear Charlie.
give reasons for classifying plants and animals based on specific characteristics. So,
Yeah.
so Ellen, if you have any ideas about what resources would be appropriate for any of that, or do you not need to think about it?
I'd probably need to think about it. There is a little bit of information within the Curlew curriculum about Curlew species and how many species there are and what we can find in the UK. I don't know if that's the kind of thing you'd be looking at, or we could send some resources for like, this is what a curlew looks like, this is what a whimbrel looks like, and kind of like how to tell the difference between different curlews.
Yeah,
If that would be useful.
Good, yeah,
Any
that
kind
would
of
be
media
useful.
resources you need, if you want photos of adults versus chicks, or audio files of like an alarm call versus the sort of bubbling spring call that you'd hear,
Yeah,
any kind of stuff like that, just yeah, you let me know.
okay.
And any time as well, if it's over the Easter holidays and you want to drop me an email and say this is the kind of thing you'd like, how can I help?
Yeah, that
let me
sounds
know.
good. Okay, thank you.
Ellen, when you say that you'll send the resources, that's different from because there are ones that we can just download, but what's
Yeah, so I did
does
have a
that
look at
mean that you're
the
picking up particular one?
I did have a look at the Curlew action videos that were on there, and did think that I could possibly put some of those into my lessons. And then the resources at the back, it's like a primary booklet. Ellen, is that those there? So I did have a look at those, which may be something I could use, but that might be more of a, I don't know whether they went into enough detail specifically for the science lessons that I'd be teaching.
Yeah.
There were some nice resources. I'm sure the children would enjoy them. I could work them in maybe schooling work or something as an activity, but there wouldn't be enough there to work as a lesson, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Well, in terms of the sort of like how you want to do your lessons, I don't really know anything about school teaching, so you literally just tell me what information would be useful, and I'll send it over.
Okay, lovely, that's great. So when I'm sort of planning, I can again just have a look. I did get the document you sent earlier as well, which I thought, oh, I could print that off and have that when I'm planning, so that will help to link it in that way, and I could just give you a yell and see if there's anything else you thought I could put in, or if there was something specific I was looking for. That would be great.
Great, sounds good.
Can I ask Ellen, I was thinking of things on perhaps a simpler basis in terms of the appearance of the bird and how it differs from other types of birds, but by just looking at the features that the curlew has, with its long legs and long beak, and this is obviously a wader as opposed to a raptor, and then go on and talk about the natural history of the curlew. So I don't know, Gemma, is that too complicated, do you think? I would have thought it'd be a fairly simple way of introducing the bird, but asking the children for their observations by showing them really nice slides of, a fully grown curlew, which is obviously a sizable bird. Or does that clash with the way that you'd be introducing this topic? The differences between animals, for example.
Yeah, that's definitely something I could put in. I think I just have to be aware that my knowledge isn't as good as yours. So it might be that I would, for one of my lessons, I may show clips of a number of birds and get the children to identify those characteristics and classify the birds of those characteristics.
Yeah. Does that fit with you, Ellen, from your experience of working with schools and
Yeah, I mean, what we've done with schools is we've kind of let the teachers lead, and
Yeah.
basically if the teacher wants to do it in a specific way, we kind of, they
Fine.
have
Yeah.
lots more creative ideas than we do. But yeah, we've done sort of similar stuff with that. We're showing them different pictures of different birds and then being like,
Yeah.
how does this bird differ from that one?
Yeah. And what about going on to the natural history? The way, you know, the bird has to migrate and then has to come to our area from the wetlands, and then it has to build its nest, you know, not in a tree, it's on the ground, and all those differences, and then introducing perhaps the concept of the vulnerability of that environment,
Yeah,
and why
yeah,
it's so difficult for the chicks to survive when they're abandoned after a few days. I mean,
yeah.
it's quite a complicated concept, isn't it, for little ones?
Well, yeah, mine are year 6 though, so they are 11.
Yeah.
About to go to
No,
secondary.
that's not too complicated then, Gemma.
No, that would
No,
be,
okay.
so if I was going to work into the session that we were going to do a specific project on a curlew maybe, and have a look at their environment, their characteristics and all the things you said,
Yeah.
is that information on the Curlew Action website?
Yes, yeah. It's also, a lot of that is in the Curlew curriculum, although potentially not the migratory thing. I might have a look through the curriculum. Yeah, all of that information will be on the website. We've got a Prezi presentation that you
Right.
just click through with lots of visuals of what's going on in curlew conservation. There's a lot of information.
Yeah,
sort of-
so as part of my planning, then I might plan in a session where they research from your website and create a project, create a document or a leaflet or
Mhm.
something that takes into account some of the things that you've just suggested.
Yeah, some of the other schools that we've worked with, they got given some information resources, and then from those resources they made posters of what is a curlew, what do they eat, where do they go, why are they struggling, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's all in your curriculum, isn't it? The first couple of paragraphs, Ellen. Yeah, so it's all there.
Yeah,
And
it's probably easier to get.
Can you supply us with really good slides then that we can project? Because Gemma can project those in her classroom.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm very happy to pull together a presentation, or I can just send you the media files themselves, the images, and then you can put them into your own presentation.
Right.
Whatever would be easier for you guys. Because we have presentations, but they're more aimed at adults. So I don't know if it's easier for you guys to pull together your own.
Yeah, that's fine. If you just email me some of the media, then I can put them together to link to what we're doing. That'd be great. Thank you.
Can I ask a question, Ellen, about another school that we visited in Hope Valley, up in Castleton, where the numbers of children in the class, in the school, in fact, are quite small, and the teacher that I spoke to, Bexthorpe, she has to teach the whole group across quite a wide range of ages. And it struck me that would be particularly difficult to try and teach them, apart from at a very simple level. Certainly not the sort of project Gemma was talking about. So in other words, when she's got her space to teach science or whatever, she has to have the whole class there, the whole school almost. And again, time is very limited to do both classroom and outdoor activities. So I don't know how much experience you've got with that, Ellen. A school that's trying to teach, from 5 right through to 9, 10. Is that right, Gemma? Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's right. But I think yourself and Charlie were saying to me, like on the Curlew Action page, right at the bottom, there is. Oh, sorry, am I?
No, I think you're still good, Gemma.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So right on the bottom of that page there is like a primary booklet, isn't there? So, and I think that would possibly aimed at younger children, and also gave more of an overview. Or one of the bits you've emailed today is like a sheet, isn't it? So I think from that booklet,
Can you hear
if
that?
you're teaching from year 3 to year 6, then you could just maybe give your 3s and 4s the booklet to have a look at, and they
Yeah.
could do some simple researching, use an iPad or a laptop, whereas your 5s and 6s could go into a much more detailed project like we've
Okay.
just talked about, and
Yeah.
actually go on to the website page, and they'll enjoy watching some of the videos, they'll enjoy watching that little presentation, and they'll be able to take their own notes and create a leaflet or a booklet, whereas the things on the website are probably for slightly younger children, and they're nice activities, so they could just have the activity booklet and they could have a bit more of a stage, a bit more of an independent presentation themselves. But I think
Okay.
from all of Key Stage 2 would enjoy looking at some of the videos that are on there and looking at some of the presentations, so I think they'd probably all be able to access that. Key Stage 1, the younger ones may struggle a little with that. They might, like you mentioned, Ellen, in the start, looking at pictures of their bird and just saying how it's different, maybe pulling out its characteristics. They do habitats in year 2, so maybe looking at where the curlews live and that sort of thing on a bit more simpler basis. But for all of K Stage 2, I think there's probably enough there to differentiate for a
Oh,
session.
that's great, Joe. Yeah. So we can draw Castleton in, do you think? Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure they, I mean, I'm happy to go ahead and do it and then show Castleton some of the things that we did. I don't know
Okay,
if that
that's
would
great.
help.
Gemma, some of the things we've been talking about, are they all applicable to your science teaching, or are you saying that you might be able to introduce some of those activities in other, as you've only got that limited time for science
Yeah.
on Monday, might you introduce activities to other parts of the school at different times, or we wait
Yeah,
first?
possibly. I think at the moment it's easier, just the setup of our school, it would be easier just to do it in science, because we only have science with our single age classes. So when we start to look at history and art, we go into groups. So we have a mixed class. So you might have, there's a 3,
Yeah.
4, 4, 5 and a 5, 6. And so whatever you do with the 5s in the 5, 6, you have to do with the 5s in the 3, 4, and then you start to have it as a bit of a whole Key Stage project. But if, like John was saying,
Yeah.
maybe it links in art some way, I could speak to the art leader, or Ellen, sorry, was it you that was saying it linked to
Yes.
art a
Yeah.
little bit?
Yeah.
I could speak to the art leader and she could, I don't actually teach the art, so she could suggest ways that could link with the art.
Mhm.
She
Great.
might like to think of that over the holiday as well.
Yeah.
So do you think it probably we wouldn't introduce the rest of the, I mean, we wouldn't actually start with anything this term?
I don't think, to be honest, I think we've only got 2 weeks after this week.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
So I don't think we would, I certainly wouldn't be starting that this term, no.
Can you just give me the dates again of what the
No, I think
end
you've
of the
frozen.
term, and then what the groups are?
The what, sorry?
Have you got them?
The school
Dates. The dates. Yes. Yeah.
Let me see. I have got them here. Got them pinned up somewhere. You should know those.
If
That's something I don't forget. So
you could
I think
email them to me if you like.
yeah, I think we break up on the 24th of March. No, we don't. We break up on the 31st of March.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 weeks off for Easter. So we come back on the 17th of April.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then I don't know when we break up after that. Hang on. Looking in the wrong place. So yeah, we break up on the 31st of March, come back on the 17th, then we break up on the 26th of May,
Mhm.
and we come back on the 5th. Then we come back on the 6th of the 6th, and we break up on the 21st of the 7th.
Or you come back on the 5th of,
The 6th of the 6th, yeah.
yeah, and break
And
up on the
21st of the
20.
7th. That's the summer, yeah.
How do you envisage, Gemma, this working in with Charlie and I as the leaders of this project? Can we come and sit in and perhaps
Yeah, of
supplement
course.
things
Yeah, of
rather
course.
than, try and do a takeover thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Just sit in and get some experience of how you're presenting it, and then
yeah.
we can chip in perhaps as we go along.
Yeah, that sounds a good idea.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I email you over the holidays and
Yeah.
just have a general plan of what we're doing and then
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
if you'd be available?
Yeah,
That
that would be good.
very helpful.
Yeah.
It was a particular time on a Monday afternoon, was it?
Yeah, so we can either do it at 1:10, 1:15 till 2:10, or we could run a whole project that runs over the whole afternoon.
Oh, great.
So if you were coming in and we were going to do it, set it all up, I think I would just move my other lesson and do a double the week after. So
Yeah.
we would do the whole afternoon on science. So it would be sort of
Great.
1:10 till 3:30.
Is that how it's worked with other schools, Ellen, or have the teachers taken the whole project?
Mostly it's been sort of teachers, but previously we've had our ambassadors who kind of lead on individual schools, but the ambassadors themselves have been teachers, so
Yeah,
it kind of has made it a bit easier. But essentially, yeah, it's all kind of teacher led. We just
right.
input with resources, pretty much.
Yeah. Because we're very aware, I think, Charlie, aren't we, how stretched the teachers are, and we'd like to supplement that if we can. But
Yes.
obviously, we don't want to interfere with the, Gemma's routine.
Yes, well, we certainly appreciate knowing what is the best way we can help. Is it partly just to how many children would you have in your class?
So
teaching
on a
first
Monday
science?
afternoon, I would only have 19. So it's quite a nice size group.
Yeah.
Yes. If it's support actually individual children more attention, or I think John's suggestion that we watch how you teach is very sensible. And but if there's anybody who can say this is the sort of help I would like, then that would also be helpful.
Well, I think just your knowledge for me, really. You're both obviously much more knowledgeable about it than me. So I would just set up the general and try to create some independent study for the year sixes, and then just you being there and being able to go around and talk to the children and they could ask questions. I think that would really help, just so you can sort of share your knowledge with them.
Yeah. I don't know whether Steve's available there, Charlie, is he? Because Steve did this very interesting work, didn't he? Interacting with the children in the Hope Valley schools, which he found
Really funny.
tremendously stimulating, really. Steve, I don't know whether you want to... I think you were surprised, weren't you, Steve, by the amount of interaction that you were able to generate. Is that right? It's frozen again, hasn't it?
Hi, we're back.
Oh, right. Did you hear that, Steve?
I think so. You're asking me about my experience working with Gemma and the other schools in Hope Valley.
Yeah, and the way the children interacted in a very positive way.
Well, I endorse what Gemma said. The children, the 10 and 11-year-olds are really bright as buttons, and they have no problem with this material and the concepts you're getting over. And they'll ask lots of questions. I mean, obviously some children are shy, but in general, there's always 3 or 4 who kicked the ball off, and we got a lot of interaction from all
Yeah.
the children we were involved in. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a really stimulating and sort of worthwhile experience. Well, it was for me, so I imagine it will be the same for you.
Yeah.
But, I'm sitting at the other desk, so I'll hand you back to Charlie. Bye for now. Best of luck with this project. It's great.
Well, shall we go with that then? Shall I? Alan said she'll send me lots of things, which sounds amazing. Thank you, Alan. And I'll put together sort of an idea of a lesson, maybe a couple of weeks in. And then if you would be both available to come in for the afternoon, that would be really great. And we can set the year 6s on a bit of a project. And then once we've done a little bit of work, it might we could do some photocopying of that so that, or some scanning, so we've got a copy of it to share with other schools, so you could see the sort of things that may be possible within this area.
Yeah. Brilliant. Gemma,
Okay.
thank you.
Excellent. I
Great.
think probably it's a good idea to have had this, especially with all this snow disruption. I
Mhm.
gather you couldn't even come to school to teach last week.
Yeah, Thursday afternoon we closed at 1, and then Friday we didn't even make it in.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Well, we've been blocked into our house on top of our hill for a week. We haven't been able to get out.
Oh gosh.
Dig ourselves out this morning. Yeah.
Ellen, can I ask, at the other end of the scale, we've hopefully got a larger school on board, the Hope Valley College, which go right up to A level.
Mhm.
So if we can get them on board, that would be great. But that opens up a huge area for us to explore. So we need to be aware that, we might want to, expand quite quickly if we can get them on board.
I thought the junior school network was actually only for up to 12-year-olds, 11 or 12-year-olds. So I don't know whether, I mean, if Donna, if we were wanting to get the whole school involved, then it would probably be more with the actual Curlew monitoring and another side of the Curlew action group. Presumably, am I right, Ellen, in thinking that you would only be able to help with the lowest, the youngest?
Yeah. So we've not done any kind of Curlew work with any students above primary school. Yeah, it's something that we're thinking about, but just because Curlew Action is currently a staff of 2, we don't have a huge amount of capacity to branch out as of yet. But once we win the lottery and bring on more people, then it's something we would love to do.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Okay. Yeah. Right, that's brilliant.
We're
Well,
right
that's
there.
very positive from Ellen. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it sounds really good. And yeah, anything we can do to help, just let me know. And Gemma, I will get you those resources
Lovely.
for the next
Yeah,
week.
that's
Because
real.
this mirrors, Ellen, this mirrors your experience in other schools, didn't it? Because I think you've said a couple of times that in your experience, the schools need a lot of support getting these sort of things off the ground.
Depends on the school and the
Yeah.
individual teachers and how much, because sometimes we've had teachers who know loads about curlews and can kind of lead the project themselves, and then we've had other teachers who are like, I don't know what a curlew is, and they need loads of support. So
Right, it
it's a bit of a
varies.
spectrum, really.
Okay.
Can I
Great.
also clarify something about the teams or Zoom thing? We offered to do the Zoom today because of Lottie's troubles, and we were finding it difficult to contact you.
Mhm.
But is the Teams? I'm not sure if we can do this.
We can set up the Teams meetings. Hopefully once Lottie's better and not on jury service, we'll be quicker with emails.
Yeah.
Gemma, do you have any problem with? There's no reason why you would find it difficult, is there?
No, it just took me a while to get on because we usually use Teams and Zoom wanted to update, so it just took ages to update, but it's fine now, it's updated. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so probably for another meeting it would be a Teams meeting then.
Yeah, either is fine now. I've got it sorted. So yeah, sorry, I was just a few minutes late. That was all.
And Ellen, if when we communicate with you, shall I just copy to you and Lottie
Yeah.
each time,
Yeah.
and then whoever is able to respond can.
Yeah, if you copy both of us in, yeah, one of us will get back to you.
Lovely.
Right. Any more questions?
No.
from Anybody?
I think that's it. Thank you very much for all of your time. And I'll get
Yeah,
back
thank
in
you
touch
so
with
much.
you.
Sounds like a really, really great project.
Yeah, thanks, Ellen and Gemma. That's great.
Cheers
Thank
then.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.